You are now watching The Lone Blown. Blown! Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? You're back here at The Lone Blown. Thanks so much for tuning in today. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button if you like Pokemon content. If you already are part of the Lone Blown squad, whatever you want to call yourselves, totally appreciate y'all showing up again. In today's videos, we're going to be going over Eternatus VMAX in more of a standard way, playing it with Power Plant. I covered the deck about 3 weeks ago, but it's been doing fairly well online. It's one of those things where I feel like if I don't progress decks every few weeks, the decks will quickly become outdated on the channel. So always just doing everything I can in my best interest to showcase what we got in these decks. Now, we already did do a playthrough video for this deck, so today's just going to be a simple deck profile. But I'm also going to be doing a Poison Eternatus full deck playthrough this week on the channel, so stay tuned for that. If you're missing any of the cards for this deck, head over to PTCGO You can plug in code ZLSAJ5. You can also find that code in the description below, and you can save 5% off your order on codes. And there's other links in there, so feel free to check all of that out. I mean, this should be a pretty short and sweet video, but it does show where my updated Eternatus list is. It's a little bit based off of Gabe Shumway's deck that he was able to go day 2 at the recent GG Tour tournaments. I think it's just a really solid way to play the deck. I don't have Crushing Hammers in my deck. I don't necessarily find them a requirement for Eternatus, but if I'm wrong, or if you have a different opinion, feel free to let me know in the comments below. That being said, let's look at this deck list. So here you have it. This is the updated Eternatus deck list. Eternatus seems like it's just getting more simpler and simpler as time goes on. This version is playing a Power Plant build, and the whole goal is to just like hit your opponent hard, plant, stamp, Marnie them into a hand of nothing. This list focuses a little bit more on using Spiritomb just as a single prize card attacker to kind of balance a 3 prize card attacking Pokemon. It also gives you some outs versus Decidueye and other just decks, Altaria, things that might be a little bit difficult to get around. Eternatus hits for all the dark Pokemon that you have in play, or each Pokemon that you have on your bench. So it's one of those things where you want to have a bunch of Pokemon, only dark Pokemon in play, which allows you to play some unique things like 4 copies of Crobats. So the goal is hit 270 with Eternatus over and over again with Dread End. Attach energies, you just manually power up. You can use Power Accelerator if you need to Power Accelerate more. Zigzagoon allows you to have a damage modifier. So whether you need to do 280 damage to knock out an ADP, that sounds cool. Spiritomb, again, a single prize card attacker that can do some extra damage by using Building Spites. Yveltal is more of a free retreat Pokemon, a really good pivot in and out of the active spots. You have the Professors Research Marnie Bosss kind of combo. Quick Ball, Great Ball, and Pokemon Communication really make up the cards that you're going to search out your Pokemon with. Switch is a standard card just in most decks. Then you got Stamp and Plants. So realistically, this deck is one of the simplest decks ever to really play. You attach energies. It only requires 2 energies. So it's like a step-by-step, or like as I like to call them, a TV dinner deck. Instructions that you could read in bite-sized amounts and then proceed to play. So you don't necessarily need to be thinking of these complex attacks when you're playing a deck like Pikachu and Zekrom GX with Mewtwo and Mew GX. You're not necessarily copying upwards of 6 attacks. You have 1 attack, you have an ability, so you just need to count in 30s the amount of Pokemon you could have in play to a maximum of 270. See if Zigzagoon can provide some opportunities, or if Bosss could provide some opportunities. Hopefully your opponent misplays with Power Plant. And I mean, it feels terrible to hope that your opponent misplays with Power Plant, but maybe they'll forget that they have it in play, attempt to play Dedenne, and unfortunately find out that they have no abilities in play. That's really where Power Plant gets a lot of players, myself included. And then when you reset stamp them and Power Plant them, they might only have access to Dedenne. So it's one of those things where between Marnie, Reset, Power Plant, that's where you're getting a disruption factor. Eternatus VMAX is just doing a bunch of damage. So this deck is really just like a beatdown deck mixed with a minor disruption elements. And Power Plant's a good way to just kind of bop some other support or some stadiums out of play. Eternatus is really weirdly placed in our metagame right now. And I know that might sound interesting to some. Like, I feel like it has a slightly favorable ADP matchup. I don't know how it particularly... I don't feel like it particularly does well against Crushing Hammer decks, which ADP and Peak both can play. But it seems to do okay against a lot of other random parts of the metagame. So Eternatus is really just like... It's like a top 5 pick. I wouldn't put it necessarily in the top 3, because I feel like that's ADP, Peak, and then a Welder deck. I feel like those are really the top 3. And ADP can also be kind of taken out for like Luke Metal. So I say like a Peak deck, a Zacian deck, and a Welder deck. Eternatus hovers like at 4th place kind of right now. And it kind of is just like well-rounded, consistent, quick, easy to play. So what I'd say is if you're a newer player to the game, I would play Eternatus if I were you. Eternatus is fairly easy to acquire because most of the cards have come out in a promo form. The Eternatus VMAX, Crobat V is getting printed in the future, which means you can go to any of the code sites like PTCGO and buy the promos necessary to play this deck. I think it's great to put together. So if you're new to joining Pokemon TCG, this might be a quick deck to put together and allow you to net some free wins online because the deck's super consistent. It's also very fun to just put a bunch of Pokemon in play and just attack with Dread End over and over again. So if that's your playstyle, this is your deck. And like I said, on the channel, we're going to be covering the Poison Eternatus variant later on this week because we haven't covered that on the channel at all, or in a minute. I don't know which one. But either way, it's one of those things. So stay tuned for that. There's going to be a lot of other great content on the channel this week. And just like that, we are absolutely done today. I mean, I know it's a short video today, and if you want to watch the Etern in action, I did put a link at the top of the video to show exactly what the deck can do in this format. I mean, it's got to be fairly similar. The deck hasn't changed so much in 3 weeks, but I did want to update everyone on what my current list looks like right now, especially if you're entering in any online tournaments during this holiday season. And I know I said it a few times, but if you missed it, there will be a Poison Eternatus full gameplay video coming out this week, deck list all included. So hopefully you're excited for that. And I mean, I don't know what other videos I'm going to be posting out here. I know I want to film a Rillaboom deck. I want to film the new Cramorant Blacephalon deck. I want to do, there's a bunch of decks that I just want to film, and I mean, I'm just excited about Pokemon lately. Whether or not our format's the greatest or not, doesn't necessarily matter. I mean, Pokemon content creation is an absolute dream for me, so let's continue on with it. And yeah, I mean, thanks so much to everyone for watching, truly from the bottom of my heart. If you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000, and hopefully we can get there soon. Have yourself a great day, and enjoy the rest of your week. Really hope that you enjoyed watching that video. I totally enjoyed making it. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like the video, share the video with everyone that you know, and subscribe to the channel as well. Totally appreciate all the support. We got a lot of cool things happening on the channel, so stay tuned for more. Be sure to check out the social links in the description. Thanks and have yourself a great one.